When I first saw turtles was right off of Little Beach at McKenna, and was amazed by them. And I got the same feeling when I looked into the eye of a turtle as I did when I looked into the eyes of an owl. And they just seemed like they are the owls of the ocean, just the way they move, they glide effortlessly. They seem to have a very wise, old feeling to them. The way their mannerism is very much like they are in a dream. Carl Sagan said that turtles don't dream, that their natural consciousness is a dream state. Starting a new painting or sculpture is always a powerful moment when the vision becomes clear and the journey begins. The mind wanders. It's a very meditative act to create, and the mind wanders in many areas. Growing up in New England was really wonderful, and that is where I really gained my appreciation for nature. I remember being out in my yard raking leaves one day, and an old man used to walk by my house, and he told me one day he was a wood carver. And something rang a bell inside, and I remember walking into that wood carving shop, and I felt at home immediately around the wood and the smell of the wood and the carving tools. He gave me 3 tools and a piece of wood to take home, and I started carving from that day on. When I was 18, I got a call from my hometown church, St. Dominic's, Father Garrity. He called and asked me if I'd be interested in carving the crucifix for the new church that they were building. The crucifix took me about a year to sculpt. It was about 300 hours altogether in that year. And I was very surprised at the dedication of the church. The piece just seemed to flow very naturally, and never having done a human form, I knew at that time there was something else guiding my hands. I had lost my father when I was 6 years old. And then when I started carving at it was about 9 or 10 years old, I just developed quite a love for it. But when I was 16, I found out from one of my father's friends that when he was a very young man, he used to like to carve his gun stocks. And this is already after 6 or 7 years of developing a love for carving and wood. I found out that my father, who had passed away 10 years earlier, used to carve as a young man. So I really feel that it was something that was passed on to me. When I was 23, I saw a book on Maui and saw how incredibly beautiful it was, and I found out that they did have a lot of very rare woods, and decided I would give it a try. And I moved to Maui when I was 23 and figured I'd give it a year. But 18 years later, I still find it to be an incredibly inspiring, wonderful home. Hawaii has so much diversity. The power of the mountains and the forests, the volcanoes, and also the power of the ocean. It has been such an inspiration for me to walk along the ocean and see the gifts that the ocean brings to the shore. Living in the middle of the Pacific, the currents bring all kinds of woods to us here in Hawaii, and they end up on our shores. Oh, what an incredible log. It's always exciting to come upon a piece of driftwood like this and look at its form and see if it speaks to you. I'm constantly reminded when I come across a piece like this how great a sculptor and painter Mother Nature is. She sculpts with the wind and rain and the rocks. It looks like this was pounding against the rocks for a long time and got sculpted just by the changing of the tides and the waves. It's really a matter of looking at a shape of a piece of wood and then trying to enhance the form that's already there. It never ceases to amaze me that I'll look at a piece today and you might have a few ideas, but then tomorrow we can come over, take a good look at it. Maybe it'll turn slightly because of the waves. We'll turn it a little bit. The form is revealed to you, clear as day. Another place that I search for wood is Ulupalakua. It has amazing diversity because it has 12 miles of coastline and it goes all the way up to 8,500 feet. So we're here on Ulupalakua Ranch. We're about maybe 3,500, 4,000 feet. And this is where we find the Nio wood. This Nio wood, as you can see, it was right in the lava. And this was where the last lava flows were. You can see off into the distance at La Perouse and down at McKenna, those two black lava flows. And these trees were fallen by that lava flow. But being so oil dense, it didn't rot away like most woods do. This looks like it has the potential to be a really nice body of Merlin here. Jeez, look at that, huh? That is extraordinary. I'll put 3 pieces on this load because these aren't too heavy. I enjoy walking amongst the wood right here at my studio. Usually before I start sculpting, I'll take a little walk through the wood and just looking around and looking at the different forms and just to see what jumps out at me. As you can see, the head is just starting to come out here. So what I'm going to want to do is bring that head out more by taking a little bit more wood out from around here and underneath the beak. I'm just going to continue to bring out the head and the talons. And that's starting to create the motion, that downward thrust, because this talon is just getting ready to sink into this salmon that's jumping out of the water. I've always been drawn to birds of prey, the owl, the eagle, and especially the Hawaiian golden eagle. When asked why I decided to carve a golden eagle out of this piece of wood, my immediate response is the eagle was in there and I just had to bring it out. You know, it almost feels like an eagle spirit because of all the hollowed areas. It makes it, it gives it a real mystical feeling to it, like it's the eagle of eagles, you know? Sandblasting creates incredible effects and textures that really add to the sculpture.
It's like unwrapping a present.
Wow. Now that's an eagle. The Nile wood already has such a natural, radiant, golden color that it naturally transformed into this golden eagle very well. Yeah, it couldn't have worked. When I first saw the eagle in there, this exceeded my expectations. I really enjoy the bronze process, even though it is quite extensive. I create my original, which could be out of any number of mediums. I've made them out of wood, stone, wax. The foundry in Berkeley is always a joy to visit. It's one of the finest foundries in America. So it's always wonderful to go in there and be among the artists and all that sculpture. I always leave there so invigorated to get back to fly back to Maui and get back into my studio to create. I send the original to the foundry and they make a silicone mold around the original. The silicone mold is then taken apart, the original is taken out, the mold put back together and injected with wax. Wax duplicates are made.
This is the ceramics room. After the waxes are all chased and finished, they're brought into this room. What they do is they take the wax sculptures and they dip them in this ceramic solution. And once they're dipped in the ceramic solution, they're brought over here and sprinkled with silica sand. And it creates a really nice coating of ceramic around the wax.
They then put the ceramic molds into a furnace and burn out the wax. And then they pour in the bronze. What I'd like to do on this piece is go with the base of these earth tones and then be able to bring in some marbleizing with the lighter color.
Okay.
The patina is the final step in the process of making a bronze, and it is really the most essential because you're coloring the piece. The patina process is hundreds of years old. It's heating the bronzes to certain temperatures and then hitting them with certain chemicals that creates a live colored corrosion. The final step is brushing on wax to the bronze, and it burns right into the surface of the bronze. And then it's buffed and finished.
Good.
Beautiful. Looks great. I really love that. Being first a sculptor, I have an understanding of form. It made it very easy to go into painting because I already knew how to draw and I already knew form and lines. Creating marine art and depicting underwater scenes, you have so much color underneath there that it was the perfect subject to start painting. So I feel beginning painting has helped my sculpture to grow and evolve. And being a sculptor has helped my paintings evolve. One really has fed the other. I wanted to paint McKenna because it was the place that inspired me to pick up a paintbrush in the first place. One of the very special things about McKenna Landing was it has one of the largest colonies of turtles in South Maui living right off the point at McKenna Landing. So I had this incredible colony of wild turtles to study on a daily basis, as well as the whales, the dolphins that would come right by the house. And it really was an absolutely wondrous place. Living right on the water there, the full moon nights were incredible. The mother whales used to come right out in front of the house and nurse their babies. Many nights I was startled out of bed by the blow of the mother. The first place I went snorkeling was that first week that I got here and was camping down at McKenna. I remember putting on that mask and going underneath the water for the first time and seeing all the color and the forms, the coral forms, and then running into the sea turtles and all the different fish. It was just such a endless supply of inspiration. Caring for the sea turtles on the Big Island was a very important part, especially in my painting career and sculpting, because the more I learned about them, the more that transformed into my sculptures. And then when I started painting, it just transformed naturally right into the paintings. The turtle sanctuary is on the eastern coast of the Big Island, and it's these two large fish ponds right on the ocean. Well, we utilize these fish ponds for the turtles now to live happily without having to worry about predators. These turtles were found hurt in the wild and brought here before the Endangered Species Act of the late 70s. This is Sam. Sam's been here for about 35 years. Well, Sam was, he was caught in dragnets, in a dragnet, and some fishermen, when they went to retrieve their nets, found him caught in a net and didn't know whether he was going to survive out in the wild because he was pretty badly chewed up. So they called Peggy, who owns this property. So Peggy went over to Kona and picked Sam up and brought him here, and he's been here ever since. And he recuperated after a few years. And so every now and then we have a veterinarian that comes and checks on him. Sam will eat papaya until you're tired of giving it to him. When I met Sam, I was just a sculptor. And then 4 years later, Sam inspired me to pick up a paintbrush. And so I've been painting ever since. I've come to realize that each one does have a personality, just like humans. We're all anatomically the same, but each of us has different qualities and different personalities. And Sam, especially out of all of them, I've grown very close to. Looks like Sam can definitely use a scrubbing. He thinks of me as a big cleaner fish, so every few months I clean off the algae for him. I have always loved the story of the life of a sea turtle. The mother turtle makes her way up onto the beach and digs a hole to lay her eggs and then covers them up and goes back into the ocean never to see the babies and nest again. And then 70 days later is when the baby turtles start hatching. And what they do is they all work together to get out of the nest. They start hatching underneath the sand. One cannot make it to the surface. They need each other's help. It's like an eruption of baby turtles coming out of the sand. Their story also inspired my first children's book, The Adventure of the Baby Turtles. Having an interest in chocolate, I was tired of seeing chocolate turtles that didn't look like a turtle and decided to make my own chocolate turtles, which is something my daughter very much enjoys getting involved with. My daughter Shala is my first priority. She really adds a great stability to life. Without her, I'd probably get completely lost in my work. And it's nice to know that there is something more important than one's work in this world.
You want to do some?
That's right. Doing a good job.
It's cute. Came out good.
Now that's a chocolate turtle. I believe if you follow your passion from your heart and truly follow it and pursue it honestly, the most magic things happen. You can call that magic coincidence, you can call it many different things, but I believe it has everything to do with coming from the heart. Like Merlin's lesson, we all have the ability to create far beyond our dreams. I never have a problem letting go of my pieces. They are like children. You have to let them go sooner or later, and they do take on a life of their own.